Hi, this is Sector Readings by Andre, where I do predictions of the future. If you'd like me to do a prediction for you, let me know in the comments below. Today we're talking about the U.S. And Edgar Casey and Nostradamus and many others have said in their future predictions that the U.S. is going to be losing its world dominance. Now, looking at the cards, I believe this is going to be fairly true. It's not going to be the big player on the world stage as it had been in the future or past. Excuse me. In the future, I think a lot of people, countries, of course, are going to be pulling away from the U.S. and its leadership. And we're already seeing this with China, Russia, and many of the countries uh, in the European sector and other parts of the world where they don't really want to do business or have too much dealings with the U.S. And we're seeing this with many countries trying to get rid of what's known as the SWIFT system uh, for payments. And if you don't know what the SWIFT system is, the SWIFT system is for countries to trade with one another, they have to use the SWIFT system, which is the US, based on the US dollar, okay, or the petrodollar, okay. So if Russia wants to buy oil, which it probably doesn't, from Iran, it has to use US dollars. So, of course, with the US right now putting sanctions and all that other wonderful stuff on other countries for doing naughty things that the US doesn't like, they're trying to get away from that system. So the cards are saying in about next 4 or 5 years, there's going to be a huge decline in US, other countries wanting anything to do with the US for the foreseeable future. Because I think they're all getting pretty fed up with the US right now. Of course, we have China and its Silk Road Initiative, which is supposed to be done in 2025. That's going to be a huge factor pushing out the Americans of world dominance. Okay. Other things going on, and it's already going on now, is you're going to hear more about the BRICS. If you don't know what the BRICS is, it's Brazil, Russia, India, and the C is China, and S is South Africa, doing more and more things on the world stage. Even now they were kind of in a decline not that long ago. I think they're going to be getting more prominence coming up. They just had their conference in Brazil, I believe. And they're talking about using cryptocurrencies, okay, as the method of getting around the Americans, okay. So they could buy cryptocurrencies in their own currency, let's say it's Russia, and then trade with another country, let's say it's Bitcoin. They didn't say which crypto they're going to be using. And then convert that cryptocurrency back into their own currency. Nice and neat, and gets around that American involvement. I do see more and more isolation. It's not that the Americans want to be, well, they want to isolate themselves from the rest of the world, but I think it's more on where the rest of the world just leaves the Americans in their own little space and leaves them alone. So isolation on both sides, okay, of the coin. Uh, of course, this is going to lead into lack of trade between the other countries and the U.S. The other countries going to be freely trading with one another, but will be hesitant in trading with U.S. because they can pretty much get all the products that the U.S. used to offer, or still offers, but from other countries. So you're going to see a lot more of that. So things that they used to get from the U.S., and of course the U.S. is a very large market, so the rest of the world's going to take a bit of a hit on their finances by not trading a lot with the U.S. and just relying upon one another. That's why China is going to be very significant in the future. But it doesn't have to be this way. There is something that Nostradamus and Edgar Casey and all of them has said, where the U.S. now has a chance, if they decide to take it, to go in a different direction and become more worldly in their approach and not keep beating people over the head for doing things that are legal, but the U.S. doesn't like it. So if they, there is a very slim chance that the Americans will change that in the next 2 years. Okay. And I do see that after Trump is no longer in office in that 2-year period, because I believe Trump's going to get the next term, another term. Even with all this impeachment talk going on, I think he's going to wiggle out of it as Trump does and get reelected. But I don't think it's going to last very long. So yes, the U.S. is going to be losing its world power in the next 2 to 5 years if it doesn't change its tune. Okay? I'd like to thank everyone that's been donating down below. Remember to get your 15 to 35% off Amazon purchases also down below. Remember to check out my new Patreon. And remember to like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the future.